is iRacing.
We've traipsed across the ocean in our first two rounds. Now we're heading back to our first event on U.S. soil. Let's get ready for round 3 of the Porsche Owners Club Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Alex Goldschmidt. Behind the scenes is our director, Christian Duploy, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Road Atlanta's hills will send the drivers on a roller coaster ride today. Let's get a closer look at it with our track guide. Welcome to Road Atlanta, the scene of incredible sports car racing for decades and the home to the Petit Le Mans. This is a track that has proven itself to be worthy of attention on a world stage. With it being situated only an hour northeast of Atlanta, Georgia, the circuit is in a prime location. But despite its flagship race, in contrast to the real Le Mans, the full course is a measly 2.5 miles long. The club layouts also clock in at just under 2 miles. Packed within this small lap length is a series of technical and challenging corners, some of which can be race-ending even when small mistakes are made. Turn 1 is a fast sweeper which compresses the car into the track, but the high speeds mean that when you go off, you typically go off in a big way. Turn 3 is notorious for its curved entry into a blind apex. Too far inside and you face a cut course penalty. Too far outside and you're likely to spin out. Then there's the unassuming Turn 5. The wide curving lures you into getting greedy, but the closed walls on either side gobble up cars and spit them out as a crumpled heap. With all the tricky fast turns, that's not to say that there aren't passing opportunities. The main one comes at the chicane at the bottom of the backstretch. The huge downhill drop into the turn makes outbraking yourself quite easy though, so be careful. The whole thing wraps up with the frightening final corner. With nothing but a giant wall right to the outside as cars fly through at high speed, it's not often that wrecks are small. Boasting a wide swath of series over its history, everything from NASCAR to Indy Lights and of course IMSA, the main use of the track is SCCA events and driving schools. No wonder this place is popular both in real life and here on the iRacing service. Fans will no doubt get to enjoy many more years of action at this incredible track. This is a track that is a favorite among sports car racers, Alex. I'm sure it'll put on a good show today.
Yeah, it definitely will. Of course, it is the home of Petit Le Mans, and yeah, undulations, a long backstretch to overtake into turn 10, the chicane when you're downhill going under braking, and it's going to be from about 150, 160 miles an hour that these Porsche 992 Carrera Cup cars will be going at, and yeah. There's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, especially through turns 1 to 5, and the drivers will have to be wary of the outside wall coming out of turn 5 following the S's.
So hopefully we'll see drivers take that into account, especially with the run that they need out of 7 into 10, where most of the passes are expected to happen. Now, before we get to the racing, a quick mention to our sponsors, which of course includes Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Top Gun MG, helping financial advisors be the best of the best. Contact them today at TopGunMG.com. That's TopGunMG.com. Taking a glance at the championship situation, Blake Sams won the first 2 rounds. I do not see him here today, though, so obviously he'll have a little bit of that eaten into. BJ Fulton, who finished second both times, is trying to play catch-up, but he's got a real hot shoe to try and race against today. Not sure if he's going to get the win, but you never know, as Michael Bolton sits in third. But he's traded that third place with Dylan Scott, who is behind him by about 2 points. Dylan Scott, another big name that we do not see back again today, still looking to try and fight to retain his crown, but has not won yet this season. From there, as you'd expect, it gets pretty close since the points aren't as much farther down through the field. So with only 2 rounds, they have not been separated. Let's take a look at the race details as well. Alex, what do we got in store?
Well, there has been a big change. Of course, we are still remaining with the 992.2 911 Cup car. It's round 3 out of 13. It is going to be a 40-minute race. Rolling start for all cars, and it will be 2 spare cars at their disposal. And more to the point, everyone is in the same boat. Same vehicle for everybody, so no more of the GT3, GT4 format that we've had here at the Porsche Owners Club for the past few seasons.
I love that they've got them all in one class now. Certainly gives us a bit more fun. A lot of drivers battling with one another out there on the circuit. But right now, the battling is with the clock, and DJ Alessandrini has the measure of everybody else by about 1.1 seconds. He is on the pole, making a splash. BJ Fulton, the next one behind, trying to play catch up. But don't count out Jad Duncan. I think BJ and Jad probably on course to have another good fight with one another today.
Yeah, very much the case, as we see the wonderfully Martini stripe livery number 82 as he comes out of the final corner at turn 12. Across the line he goes, and his fastest lap has been a 1 minute 19.025, so he's dropped the gap down to 1.161 seconds, but he's just aborted that lap. Jad Duncan, however, with the Aztec logo and also Moser Racing embroiled on his Porsche, makes his way through into the final couple of corners. So over the hill, over the crest, down through turn 11 and into the fast right sweeper here at turn 12. Doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement for Jan Duncan. No, 1 minute 20.807, but he still remains in P3 for the moment as the checker is out here for quali.
I think he got across the line before the flag waved, so he does have one more lap if he wants. That last time by for Fulton was his quickest, but like you said, it was a tiny improvement in comparison. Let's see, somebody just crossed the line. That was Larry Haas, and he improves to a 1:21.2. That'll put him in 12th. Duncan, continuing on this last lap, heads up towards turn 6. And the ever-critical 7 needing that huge launch. He is abandoning the lap as he cuts across the inside there. So that's it for Jad Duncan. He's done with qualifying.
That would be a disallowed lap, I'm afraid. Trying to channel his inner Travis Pastrana, Jim Garner style there, going on the Joker lap. But nevertheless, DJ Alessandrini, who does have nearly an 8K I rating. I've seen him compete quite recently in a GT4 series and won both races. That was actually in a Porsche Cayman 718. So, yeah, he's going to probably have an opportunity like Blake Sams did in the first opening couple of rounds, try and get a breakaway early, but it's not easy here at Road Atlanta. We talked about that infamous turn 5 coming out of the S's. That could be a make or break moment for any of the drivers over the 40 minutes, but here's the starting grid with Joe.
Indeed, Alessandrini on the pole position with BJ Fulton starting from second. Jad Duncan in third, was only 34 thousandths away from Fulton on his lap time. They're looking like they're going to be tight. Marc Rondeau will start from fourth. It'll be Robert Leclerc in the fifth position with Dustin Heindel in P6. After that, it's Michael Bolton in seventh and Christopher Marciniak P8, Alan Watts ninth, and Yoshiki Tani in 10th. Then just a few more cars here as Mark Morales will start from 11th today. Larry Haas, who we mentioned, laid across the line with his best lap, will start from 12th. It'll be Chris McDuff in 13th and John Momeyer 14th, Jim Garamani P15, and Adam Abrams starting from 16th today. Everybody did manage to get lap times in. There is one name that we have sadly been missing this season, and if you've been wondering where Federico Del Toro has gone, we unfortunately must report that he has passed away in recent months. So our thoughts go out to obviously his family and friends and their mourning, and wish them the best. And We definitely miss him because he was a popular face in this paddock and always gave us some of the most memorable interviews, if I'm honest.
I completely agree. So our thoughts and prayers are with them. So tonight we'll be racing in Federico's honour, but the grid starting to line up here at the home of Petit Le Mans. And you can hear the roars from the virtual grandstand. But Joe, Road Atlanta, a true American sports car classic. I'm looking forward to this 40-minute encounter here for round 3.
I am as well. And I think the big difference is those first 2 tracks, those were modern Formula One tracks, we have to remember. A lot of paved runoff. They still had their dangers. There were places that you had to watch out where the barriers could be a little closer, but it's nothing like Road Atlanta. This place is punishing. You talked about turn 5. Turn 1 as well gobbles up cars all the time. So I think this is a situation where they really have to maybe be careful about how much they overstep the boundaries.
And also they've got to counter in the fact of how much fuel they're going to be using per lap, because there is going to be a pit stop for all of our drivers here tonight here at the Porsche Owners Club Sim Racing League. And you know what? These flat 6 boxer engines, these are the new cars that will be making their debut in real life. They've already made their debut in the Carrera Cup Middle East, and very soon the Mobil 1 Super Cup and 6th Porsche Carrera Cup Germany will be just some of the first of 35 global championships supported by Porsche worldwide that will be using the new generation car.
There they go, taking off on a very short pace lap as they start just before the final chicane. So they aren't even really going to follow the pace car all that much. It's going to be Alessandrini leading them up and over the hill. With that pit stop, what is the timing going to wind up looking like? Because it's a short lap around here. That should open it up quite a bit. We wait patiently for the call from the flag stand. And there it is. The green flag is out, coming off the final corner. It's a very good jump from DJ. Meanwhile, we got a problem in the background. The 12 is around. Thankfully, everybody else avoids. Robert Leclerc, who seems to be our driver who has had an issue getting on the throttle. Meanwhile, it's a battle for P2 between Fulton and Duncan. Fulton just a nose ahead, but he's on the outside as they come into turn 3, and Duncan is going to take that second away.
Didn't really know whether it was an assisted push for Robert Leclerc, because that car ended up with the front end completely mangled. But as I said, DJ Alessandrini already 1.1 seconds up the road as they come through out of turn number 5, following in from the S's. And then it's the short run up to the double right-hander here at 6 and 7. Michael Bolton trying to close in on Dustin Heindel. And it is going to be the case. He's got Chris Marciniak, who's actually got through on him as all. Bit of a tank slapper there for Marc Rondeau. And here comes Dustin Heindel round the outside. And that's going to be a good move there to put him up into P4. And now here comes Marciniak with a big head of steam. Bolton might get a double slipstream tow, side by side for 5th position between Marciniak and Rondeau on the run down to turn 10.
Just a great illustration of how you can't mess up that turn 7. Deep on the brakes there from Bolton. Can't quite make it stick. Going to make a tiny bit of contact with Rondeau coming off of the corner and down in the final turn. You cannot go too wide this early in the race. They have to sort it out with Bolton falling down to 7th. A look to the inside now from Morales as he tries to take 8th away from Tani, but Tani's going to shut the door as they hit turn 1. All this happening well behind Alessandrini, who is a 1.5 seconds ahead of the field.
Yeah, he's absolutely cantering away early doors, as we can see the man in the number 14 running away with it. Duncan 2nd, BJ Fulton, Dustin Heindel, Chris Marciniak now up into 5th position, and he's the biggest mover at the moment. He's up 3 spots. So is Adam Abrams in the number 9. He started at the back end of the field, and he's now running P13 as Alessandrini turns it right, rotates the car through turn number 7, and now bang on the power in the flat 6 4-litre 512 brake horsepower car. As to the right hand side, that is going to be Marc Rondeau, who I think just got a slowdown penalty. So Michael Bolton gets through. Here comes Alan Watts, and he's alongside Mark Morales. He's actually just got a nose ahead of the number 99 as they come down the backstretch once again. Down the hill they go, hard on the brakes. And Alan Watts, well, he got the whole shot coming out of turn 7. Mark Morales was powerless to defend against it.
Yeah, Morales was the one on the attack last lap, and the roles have been reversed. Who's Alan back to where he qualified in 9th spot. We did have our first victim in turn 5 on lap 1, unfortunately. John Momeyer has fallen back because of that. Alessandrini, in the meantime, we saw set the fastest lap of the race. He is absolutely gone. This is the battle between Heindel and Fulton to decide the last step on the podium.
Dustin's definitely become a bit creative with his livery on his 992.2 Cup car as Marc Rondeau, now behind Alan Watts, who is up into 8th position. So Mark having to serve a slowdown penalty. Oh, he stumbles a little bit coming out of turn 5, and here comes Mark Morales in the 99 trying to close in. We're going to have a look, and that's where he had the moment. He actually went off the circuit and went grass cutting, and that was heading down into the S's off of turn 3. So Mark not having the greatest run of luck. That's 2 slowdown penalties in the opening 4 laps.
Not the way he wanted to kick things off, especially since we have seen some really good performances from him in days past. But in the meantime, Bolton already catching up to Marciniak. Marciniak does not defend the inside, but Bolton can't get the overlap he needs. He stays behind him, although he's very deep on the inside of the apex. That gives him a great run, and he once again is all over the back of the 35. I just don't think he's got the speed here down the front straight. It's not enough of a braking zone at a turn 1.
Literally, you're carrying so much momentum through turn number 12, and then you've got to sort of back it up a little bit going into turn 1 up the hill, through into 2, then down the hill, back again over the crest, through into 3. Oh, big amount of curves. Michael Bolton just spun it.
So as he brings it back onto the track, at least he didn't hit anything. Oh no, speaking of which, 2 other cars absolutely hit something into the tire barriers, one of which now smoking. Trying to make out, I think that, no, that's Rondeau, but the car that is off to the side. Oh, yeah, you're right, that is him. Oh, man.
That looks like, I think that engine's gone on that car because there was a big plume of smoke. We're going to see check out a replay very, very shortly on that, but I think that might be game over for one of Alan Watts' cars, and that's dropped him. Yeah, he's in the pits now, Joe.
We kind of wondered whether or not this track would eat a few cars, and unfortunately, it already has. Adam Abrams now promoted up to 10th. He and Garamani each have gained 6 positions since the start of the race. Shows himself on a little bit of a different line from Jim, but he's not able to make an attack here quite yet. Let's take another look at what happened here. Close coming through turn 3. There goes Bolton off. And, oh, one car spins. Wow, okay, so there was a lot of stuff happening here. And I think Rondeau just tried to shoot the gap. Watts, unfortunately, was not expecting the car to be there. Now, who was the 3rd car that we saw spin?
Marciniak, I think it was, and he's dropped all the way down to 12th position. So he was spinning already on his own, as John Mamea now up into P12, and he's got Chris Marciniak not that far behind him, and then also Marc Rondeau is closing in. But yeah, I think it was just a case of, we saw that if Michael Bolton can be caught out by that complex, then that just goes to show it can happen to anybody. And you know, Chris Marciniak was the the last season GT4 champion, but with them all being in the 992 Cup car, that was close with Michael Bolton behind Larry Haas, and there's Mark Morales just up ahead. So this is the battle for P6 as we're going down the back stretch. So just keep your eyes on the speed indicator on the bottom right hand corner of your screens, folks, because 156 will probably be 160 just flashed up on the telemetry for Michael Bolton as he's going to go round to the outside through into turn 10. Larry Haas does not decide to fight it, and the battle continues between Messrs Morales and Bolton for P6 on the road.
Great recovery from Michael Bolton. He technically hasn't lost a position since the start. So despite a spin, he has already gotten at least one of those spots back, and other drivers running into trouble has given him opportunities. He's going to try and take a wide entry into turn 3, but he has to sit behind, at least for now. What about Rondeau back here, who's got himself running once again? That's Marciniak just in front of him. Marc Rondeau, I'm pretty sure, did get the wall in his incident down through the S's, so we don't know what kind of damage is on the car.
I've just noticed, Joe, he's actually got some damage to the rear bumper and the light cluster as well, so that's probably hampering the rear aerodynamics of the 992.2 Cup car, so the diffuser might be a little bit out of shape, but it's not compromising him in terms of speed and pace here, because he's trying to go through to the inside very, very briefly of Chris Marciniak. So Rondeau seems like he's fired up. Meantime, Morales and Bolton nearly side by side. Bolton through for P6. But this could give the opportunity to Larry Haas for a double toe as they head down the braking zone. Will Larry Haas follow through behind Michael Bolton? No, not on that occasion. So Mark Morales retains 7th for the meantime.
Great job by Michael. That's twice we've seen him get a great run off of turn 7, and that's got him a position in 2 consecutive laps. Rondeau versus Marciniak down through the chicane. Marciniak in the blue machine, the orange and blue, with Mark so close behind. Does he dare try and do something coming into turn 1? Both of them getting well off as Adam Abrams apparently had trouble over what looks like turn 5. As we come through turn 1 between these two, no change of position. Christopher just holding station, but they're getting close to, that is John Momeyer in front of them.
Meantime, DJ Alessandrini has checked out with a 7.5 second lead. We're only 9 minutes into this sprint race here at Road Atlanta. So DJ just getting away with everything whilst everyone has been battling behind. But there we see a wonderful onboard shot from John Momeyer as Mark Rondeau closing in again, going through turn 6 now. And then it's a bit like the 2 Lesmos at Monza, where you've got to be very, very much on point on both corners, and you have to really, really wait to come out of turn 7 to really apply the power hard. As we see picture in picture, Michael Bolton now through on Yoshihiki Tani, and that is P5 for the 127. Michael Bolton at the moment, Joe, is running a 120.97 at the minute as Rondeau to the inside of Marciniak here at turn 10. That's not going to be enough for the number 11 to get through.
A little bit of damage on the nose, it seems, as well, of Rondeau. This time, though, he manages to get wheel to wheel. By the time they get to the final corner, all 4 wheels off into the dirt by Marciniak. He collects it before it becomes a disaster, but scary moments. Great heads up by both of them. That could have been a lot worse.
Well, it's definitely a code brown there for Chris Marciniak. I mean, he definitely kept the throttle pinned. And now Mark Rondeau trying to close in on John Momeyer. This is for P10. Yeah, you're right. There is a little bit of damage because the front wing and bonnet, the hood, are misaligned on the car along with the bumper. So a little bit of front and rear end damage is not hindering the fast charging Mark Rondeau. Meantime, the biggest gap at the minute is between Dustin Heindel and Michael Bolton in the battle for P4. Gap is around about 10.6 seconds. And these laps are quickly going by, as you rightly said, Joe. We're now on lap 10 with DJ Alessandrini. He's 8.4 seconds up the road from Jad Duncan, who's cleared BJ Fulton by about 2.5 seconds. But the real battling that we're seeing is from 5th downwards.
Rondeau is a man on a mission. You saw that car nearly looking like it was out of control coming off of turn 7, and still he has not lost time to Momeyer, who he is getting ready to try and pass now, and he's way stronger coming out of the chicane. Is he going to make another brave move here through the final turn? No, he's not going to repeat those heroics this time. Still, he remains in the mirrors of the number 6. Yeah, I was looking at the lap times there for Bolton and Heindel. Previous lap was about 0.4 quicker. This one about 0.3 of a second faster. So it'll take a bit, but I think Michael is coming.
The thing is, DJ... Oh, no! Rondeau
no.
spun it! Oh, that's going to hit the barriers. Oh, dear. Oh, a bit too much over the limit there, I think, Joe.
It was good until it wasn't. And yeah, I think the car is misaligned now at this stage. It looks like it does not track straight. And I think that's Adam Abrams, who is very cautiously trying to go by. No wonder it is usually extremely single file through the S's. And yeah, you can tell that the car is not going in a straight line.
So they've been given a mechanical black flag as DJ Alessandrini puts in the new fastest lap of the race. 1:18.341. DJ has been pounding in the laps like it's been a glorified 40-minute qualifying session here. He's been, I think it's like 18.6, 18.4, 18.5, and he puts in a near mid 18.3. So that's why he's nearly 10 seconds up the road. He's absolutely flying, is the man in the number 14. And it's all going to come down to those very, very essential pit stops, because it's a short pit lane here at Road Atlanta. Let's not forget, Joe.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hope he's got everything set up, that he's ready and knows kind of what the strategy is there, because that could make or break. But the other thing is, there's no guarantees. As quick as he is, we've seen drivers make mistakes today, and it seems even small offs could have big consequences. Momeyer has, it looks like now, I think that's Jim Garamani in front of him. So Jim must have had an issue, because Momeyer was battling with Rondeau just a bit ago, and now he's on the reverse. He's trying to see if he can get up past that 9th place car. This is out of turn 7 as we watch from underneath the exhaust of Jim.
Yeah, Garamani, he lost a big amount of time, 1.1 seconds. So I think you're right, he must have had a drama in either the middle or final sector, but here we see the run coming from John Mamea on Jim Garamani. It is going to be down the hill, and Mamea late on the brakes in the number 6. Oh, dives through nice and neatly, carries it round the outside as we go over the crest underneath the bridge through turn 11. Good move there by John Mamea, gave Jim Garamani enough room to make sure that he was still all 4 wheels on the tarmac here at Road Atlanta. So good move by John Mamea, up to P9 now.
Excellent stuff. Another driver that's been up 5 positions. That's the most anybody has managed. Morales has done so. Jim Garamani and Adam Abrams all have gained 5 spots since the beginning. This is Mark here, sitting in that 6th position. That is Yoshiki Tani behind him, who I think Mark actually just got that spot from after Yoshiki had a big slip-up coming out of the chicane and managed to catch it. But he's not out of it yet. Ahead of them both, Michael Bolton is absolutely gone after he had passed the pair of them. He's already about 5 seconds up the road and is continuing to cut down on Heindel. It's now about 8.5 seconds, it looks like, to P4.
Yeah, last lap for Dustin Heindel, 1:20.467. This looks to be another quick lap from Michael Bolton, 1:19.8 flat. So took over 6.5 tenths of a second. So that's coming down every 2 laps by about 1.5, Joe. So Michael Bolton on a big charge. Gap between him and Dustin Heindel is about 8.5 seconds. And there is the man. Whoever decided to put the googly eyes on the front of the 117, that's probably Dustin's call on that one, but it's probably just to say to people, well, my car might be nice and shiny blue, and he's got Chips Ahoy on the side as well. There we go.
It's the Cookie Monster.
It's the Cookie Monster from Sesame Street all of a sudden. Brilliant. Great stuff there, Heindel. Mr. Dustin Heindel. Reminds me of my childhood back there watching Sesame Street with Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, Bert and Ernie and all that. And now we got the Cookie Monster here on POC.
He's just got to hope that he doesn't get gobbled up by Michael Bolton, though, because like we said, he's the one that is gaining time each and every lap. In fact, that last time by for Bolton was 7/100ths off of his fastest lap. So he's being very consistent as well as his quickness.
Big shout out to our broadcast director, Christian Deploy. On his rear bumper, he's got only cookies on the back bumper as well. So definitely well themed there, Dustin. Good call there, buddy.
I'm going to take a wild stab that he himself might like cookies.
Yeah. I was going to say, oh no, he's lost it. He's lost it. Oh, the Cookie Monster goes off the circuit, I'm afraid. But he's probably got a big old stash in his sim room, probably of not just Chips Ahoy, maybe Oreos there to boot.
Yeah, some Thin Mints perchance, but that is going to give up that spot, unfortunately. So, that is Marc Rondeau, who just got by him, and he is a lap down. Mark, Leclerc, and then you've got Marciniak and Watts have all been lapped by our leaders, but all 4 of them have been in the pit lane before now. BJ Fulton, it looks so close in qualifying, but he's 4.5 seconds behind Jad Duncan. Jad's been doing a very good job since he's gotten by at the start of the race.
Yeah, he's been running in the low to mid 1:19s, but I mean, last lap for DJ Alessandrini. This is how consistent this man is. He's just on a 1:18.6. His best lap, a 1:18.34. So this man is lapping within 3 to 4 tenths of a second of his laps in qualifying. So DJ's got that car set up for absolute outright performance, not just the straight line speed. Maybe took a little bit off the rear wing, but in terms of that, how that car is absolutely being pedaled around this circuit here at Road Atlanta. He's 14 seconds up the road, and we are 2 minutes away from half time in this 40-minute race. That is astounding, to say the very least, Joe. DJ Alessandrini is absolutely flying around the circuit.
Yeah, we are on lap 14, so he's averaged a second per lap faster than his competitors. It's been impressive what he's been able to do up there. Duncan's still going to collect what points he can and try to get back into this fight. He's not had the greatest start of the season compared to what we've seen in the past. Hasn't been on the podium yet. Best finish of 5th, but this could be a P2 if he could just wrap it up from here. Right now, that is another lapped car just in front of him, Chris Marciniak. So hopefully shouldn't have too many issues trying to get by, as I'm sure the blue flags are waving inside the virtual cockpit.
One of the interesting things, Joe, I mean, with these laps being so very much full throttle, with that technicality and elevation, particularly in the opening sector, we ride on board with Jad Duncan, who manages to get through on Chris Marciniak, and this really gives you an idea of how things are. Bumping over the curves, now out of turn 5. Don't run it too wide. And then you're seeing 4th gear up to 5th, 130 miles an hour. He's going to be at 140 before hitting the brakes. It's down to 3rd gear, and then it's again down to 2nd for turn 7. And then you just wait. Now he's buried the throttle and accelerates up to 4th, 110, 120, 130 miles an hour in 5th gear. This is where the car starts to really stretch its legs. They rev to over 8,000 RPM on these flat 6-boxer engines. 163, 165 miles an hour I noticed on the speedometer at 6th gear before going hard on the brakes. Jad is trying to do all he can to reel in DJ, but DJ is now, with 20 minutes gone, 20 to go, he's 16.5 seconds up the road. This is looking to be a masterclass by Alessandrini, and Messrs Duncan and Fulton and Heindel, they're all battling over the scraps of the last 2 places on the rostrum.
Yeah, that last lap was 2 seconds quicker than Jad Duncan. And we know that Jad is no slouch. So this has really been showing him how it's done. There is Alessandrini about to get, I think, Adam Abrams. Yep, that is the 9 car just in front of him. The latest to be lapped, if he can just get up to the back of him. But we should start to see those pit stops any time now as they get towards the end of that pit window. Remember, they've limited the fuel compared to what the real cars could carry, hence why they cannot make it to the end. Now, because of that, we don't expect any tires during the pit stop. Cut back underneath. Ooh, a little sketchy for a moment there from DJ, but he is passed and freed up to carry on. So that won't be quite as quick as what we saw last time, most likely, but nevertheless doing a pretty good job. But yeah, you pointed out something with our ride with Jad Duncan. There's very few parts of this track where you are not busy, and pretty much the only one is down the back straightaway. Otherwise, you're steering or doing something inside the car the entire time.
One of the other things, because these cars have the ABS and the traction control, you might be sort of like on the fly, maybe changing your settings whilst coming down the backstretch. That's the biggest opportunity where you can have a little bit of a breather, but it's not much. It's about maybe 10 to maybe about 15 to 20 seconds of the lap at most, where you can just go, all right, now if the tires are degrading a little bit on the back, you want to switch that brake bias maybe a little bit further forward just to help with the ABS and the traction. And but DJ 17 seconds up the road, and he's just done we've got first pitter in the pit lane, and that is Michael Bolton. So yeah, he's currently putting fuel in. He's been on his marks for just over 11 seconds as DJ Alessandrini is going to come round through out of turn number 12. 17.5 seconds the gap between him and Jad Duncan as we run on board with the number 14. And this is going to really give you all an idea of just how fast this man is. Through into turn 1, 4th gear, accelerate up the hill. This is going to be a really, really rapid way of just showcasing how this man is manhandling this Porsche around the circuit.
And I'm watching that steering wheel too, and this feels so confident. There's so little hesitation, so few corrections on there. This definitely explains some of the speed that we're seeing. Just a masterclass that we're getting from DJ on today's race. Duncan still, I think, going to get a deserving second if things stay as they are. It is not done. I know we keep saying that, but I've seen too many weird things happen in racing over the years to know to call this one over quite yet. Momeyer, who is side by side with Bolton, gets overtaken. Michael gets back up to 8th. Remember, he just had his pit stop, so now he's overtaken a few cars that have not stopped yet. Morales is, though, getting his service.
Yeah, we're seeing pit stops anywhere between 38 and 41 seconds here, Joe. So when everyone's done their pit stops, including DJ Alessandrini, he's done enough to probably cover about half a pit stop. But if he decides that he's going to run the car literally to fumes, he could probably have one of the shortest complete pit stops that we see out of everybody. But it is going to be the case that more drivers, including now Jim Garamani, is in pit road. So I think probably within the next couple of minutes or so, I think we'll see that pit stop cycle come through, and then it'll then reset the pecking order as what it's been for the majority of the race, with Alessandrini up top.
Bolton coming around. There's Dustin Heindel pitting in. And it is a tricky pit in as well. We have to remember that there's a bit of a chicane in there, and if you try to attack it, you can make up time, but you can also embarrass yourself a little bit, smacking either side of the walls on your way in. And it's looking like stationary anywhere between 11 and 13 seconds for most of the cars is what we need to watch out for. Quickest one seems to be Marciniak at 11.1. No, I take that back. Jim Garamani looks like he just had a 10.1, but I think he also had a visit in the pit lane earlier, so that may have helped him not need as much fuel. Heindel with 11.4. That's a nice quick one. He returns just behind Larry Haas.
Yeah, so it's just about now getting back to getting the feeling underneath you, because obviously with being stationary for those 10 to 13 seconds, the tyres are going to go a little bit colder, the temperature's going to dissipate from them, and then you've got to sort of take a lap or two just to readjust and get your bearings back once again before you start really putting pedal to the metal. But yeah, Larry Haas doing a really, really good job. He's up 7 spots at the moment, so that's up from P12 at the start. So Larry doing a very, very, I wouldn't say conservative, but a very consummate performance for him. John Momeo returns behind Chris Marciniak, just exiting out of pit road. So we still have the top 5, plus also Adam Abrams in the number 9, who have yet to pit.
See, Chris McDuff is in and actually exiting out for the second time in this race. I'm kind of curious if we're going to see Marciniak pit again, because his last pit stop was 10 laps ago. So he may, I know he was involved in an incident, so I wonder if that was him repairing some things and then taking the pit stop while he was at it. But we're just hoping that was within the window, that he doesn't need to take a second stop for a little splash of fuel. If he doesn't, then that means that John Momeyer does have to try and pass him on track.
Yeah, and it's getting very, very close between the pair. They are covered by about 5.5 tenths of a second as they head into the braking zone here at turn number 10, as John, I think, went a little bit deep into turn 10 there, so lost a little bit of speed coming out of the chicane, but might be able to gather it up coming out of here at turn 12. Gap between them now, yeah, half a second. So John really didn't lose that much time, probably half a tenth, give or take. But still, the top 3 yet to pit. Neither has Yoshiki Tani, and he's up 6 positions. Adam Abrams is definitely going long on his first stint in the number 8 car. So he's up 8 spots in total. So not a bad first stint here for Adam. He's done a really, really good job. He's kept his nose clean. He's kept the car on the black stuff and has stayed out of trouble. And that's what you need to be here. You need to be confident, you need to be concise, and you need to be calm all at the same time here. But sometimes there'll be those moments as DJ Alessandrini pits from the race lead.
There we go. Now we're going to start to get a little bit of a more accurate picture of the gaps here soon. I imagine we'll start to see Duncan and Fulton pit in as well. And just like that, there is Jad Duncan heading into pit lane. And, I just realized they have moved the cones. It used to be the cones were here, so that does take some of the risk out of charging on the pit entry, but obviously there is still some. BJ Fulton also pitting in behind him. One thing to remember, we were talking about Michael Bolton being quicker than Dustin Heindel. It was 10 seconds when he first got into the position behind him. It's down to 2.2, and I think the last lap was 0.7 of a second quicker. So Dustin might have company.
Yeah, and that's very much the case because Michael, as I said, he's averaging about 1.5 seconds of time that he's gathered up through all three sectors on both respective laps. He is absolutely flying at the moment, and Dustin is going to have to watch his six very closely because they come across the line. 121.56 for Dustin Heindel, 119.608, so another nearly 0.6 taken out by Michael Bolton. That gap is very shortly going to be under the 2-second bracket, and Mr. Cookie Monster is going to have to watch his rear wing and his rear view mirrors.
For sure. That's just outside the podium, unfortunately, for Michael Bolton. It seems like the pace has been there today, but he's had a few mistakes here and there. It's kind of a question of what could have been if he had stuck with it. Could he have caught up to BJ Fulton, who holds that last step currently? So the 127 out of turn 7 now, and Heindel definitely within his sights. He's got it down to under 2 seconds.
Yeah, and another nearly 0.3 taken out of Dustin in the first sector alone. They're coming down the backstretch, so they break the timing being for sector number 2, and that'll be interesting to see. 27.5 for Dustin, 27.7 this time around, so Michael loses about 2.5 of a second in the middle sector, but it seems to be sectors 1 and 3 where Michael Bolton has got it really hooked up, as we see Robert Leclerc now having, he's got no rear wing on that Porsche, and he's still catching Jim Garamani. So Garamani seeming to struggle. Rob Leclerc with no rear wing. That's going to have an aero imbalance on the back end of the car, despite it having both front and rear ends damaged. And there's Marc Rondeau. So three-way scrap in the dying stages, 9.5 minutes to go between Garamani, Leclerc and Rondeau, and that is for 11th.
Not been the best of days for Robert. Remember, he got into the wall right at the start of the race, almost before the start-finish line. And as he's being followed by Rondeau, I wonder if Rondeau's going to have an easy time here catching and passing him, looking for the inside just a tiny bit down into the chicane, but decides against it. That is also Jim Garamani. And then do they have a third one? No, that looks to be a lapped car, or lapping car behind him. That's Jad Duncan about to interrupt things. Now, how is that going to play into this fight?
It means that DJ Alessandrini, I would imagine, is going to probably have north of a 23-second lead very, very shortly, because this is the battle for position. They've also got to be very, very careful as, Marciniak keeps out of the way. Good call there by Chris. He lets Mark out. Oh, dear. Robert just goes grass tracking. That's going to be a slowdown penalty there for the number 12, which he'll have to serve very, very shortly. And there, as we see, yep, you were right, Jad Duncan right with them, and he's going to come flying out of turn number 5, get the slingshot, and now to the right-hand side goes Rob Leclerc and lets him through before turn 6, and then it's going to be a case of out of turn 7, and then it's going to be Marc Rondeau's turn to pull aside, but that's not going to stop Jad Duncan trying to get a little bit of a slipstream down the back stretch before heading into the chicane at turn 10, as Mark Morales and Yoshihiko Kitani are battling tooth and nail between themselves over 6th and 7th position. Gap is just over 5.5, make that 0.6 right now as they come out of T5.
Morales, a gain of 5 positions. He has the most of anybody in today's race currently, Will Yoshiki bring that down a notch as he gets close to him, coming up into the braking of turn 7? In fact, an excellent run through there, nearly a car length behind him. He gets the shot coming down the long back straightaway. Will he be able to keep up with him? It looks like maybe Morales just trimmed that car off. He took off like a shot.
Very much the case, as now we are going to be heading into the braking zone here at turn 10 onto the chicane once again, and more to the point, that is the case that Yoshiki might get the run on him here. Now I'm just wondering if this might be the man that also runs in he's got a lot of experience, I think, in real life possibly. Yoshiki drifting GTs. But here we go, Dustin Heindel. Right with him now is Michael Bolton. And Michael, last time around, took another 7/10 out of him. So I think the Jaws music might be burning in my eardrums very shortly, Mr. Peak.
What a run it has been for him. Just impressive stuff from Bolton. If Heindel can hold on, it's only a few more laps to go. He could defend. It's difficult down into this chicane if the other driver is as quick as Michael Bolton is, but not impossible. He's not going to be able to attack him this time. We'll maybe try and set him up next time through, because unless you're brave, there's few really good passing spots in the first half of the lap.
Yeah. And Michael, I think his next opportunity will be down the back straightaway here, Joe, because coming through the opening sector, it is going to be difficult, but if he can stay in the wheel tracks of Dustin, this is his opportunity, and right down towards the S's. Oh, Michael just missteps a little bit there, and that causes him to lose a cut, maybe a tenth or two. But this is going to give him the opportunity now as they come out of turn 5. Oh, look at how big the air was on the left-hand side of Michael Bolton's car coming out of turn 5 following the S's. He really is throwing caution to the wind because he wants that 4th place from Dustin as they're coming out of turn 7 right now with 5 minutes to go.
Bolton, remember, managed to get a podium finish at the first round at Spa, but missed out with 4th at Interlagos. He's not going to get to it today from what it looks like. But he at least wants to try and get himself another P4 to limit the damage. Still can't get there coming down to the braking of the chicane. He closes up as both of them really putting the power down hard off of the corner and over the crest. This is the closest we've seen him in some time, and he's now going to get the run coming down to the inside of turn 1. They're going to make slight contact as they approach the right-hander. Another bang of the doors between the pair of them. And aggressively, Bolton is going to take that P4.
Meantime, Yoshiki Tani has got through on Mark Morales, so there has been a change for 6th position in the meantime whilst that was all going on. But yeah, Michael had to get his elbows out and get the standing knives sharpened on them as well for good measure. And yeah, that run he had coming out of turn 12, that was his opportunity. And look, he's still gaining air. You see him bumping over the curbs out of turn 5. That 127 car is cornering like it's on rails and on the limit of adhesion. Michael Bolton was like a man possessed, and now he's up into P4. Yes, he might be 12.8 seconds behind BJ Fulton. Meantime, a little bit further back, I think that's Adam Abrams versus Jim Garamani just in front, and they're nose to tail coming down the backstretch, and that is going to be the battle for P13. Garamani to the inside at the chicane. He dives through. Abrams keeps it round the outside and stays ahead. Great defensive there by Adam Abrams, but there's a door check between the two down the hill out of turn 11, and Abrams still holds on to 13th.
This is fierce back here. He gets another good bit of momentum. He comes up to the inside of turn 1. Is he brave enough? He gets the inside again. They nearly touch through the corner. And it's going to be back to P13 for Garamani. Behind them, quickly approaching. Michael Bolton does not want to give any opportunity back to Heindel, but he slips up. And I think Heindel is going to get that opportunity. Wheel to wheel down through the S's. They can't stay this way for too long. They're going to come together again. Off into the gravel. Bolton keeps it from flying into the barrier. But even still, the damage is done, and Heindel is off down the road with 2 minutes to go. These two, unconcerned with what's happening behind them, are still fighting, and they'll also make contact.
Oh, this is with the 992.2 Cup car being introduced for this season here in 2026. It's really set the fires ablaze here in POC. But I think it was like the case of unstoppable force versus immovable object between Dustin Heindel and Michael Bolton, and something had to give. And yeah, it was just lucky that Michael didn't end up in the barriers, because that could have quite quickly ended his race. He's going to have to settle for P5, but more to the point, Garamani and Abrams, they are not done by a long shot. Adam Abrams comes 2 wheels onto the grass out of turn 12. And this could be an opportunity for him. Well, Heindel round the outside of Garamani. Abrams right in the slipstream coming out of turn 1. Up the hill they go through into 2. This is non-stop madness. Abrams tries round the outside at 3. Misstep there from... Oh, and they get into the side of each other, and they are both around at turn 3 before the S's. Oh, Garamani hits the wall backwards. Big clatter in by the 163 backwards. And Abrams is just going to take complete advantage of that and say, well, it was going to come to blows, and he ends up being P13. 1 minute to go, and the flames have not been fanned in this last 5 minutes, Joe. It's been absolutely mad.
I kind of worried that was going to boil over a little bit. Things were getting wild. I mean, even with Heindel and Bolton, it feels like Dustin wanted to give just as much as he took there. As we watch McDuff... close behind these two, well, now in between them and up into that 14th spot. Now, Alessandrini, I was going to try and watch when he was crossing the line because it was looking close on time. And then all that action happened down at turn 3 and took my attention away from the clock. So I'm not sure if this is last lap or if he'll get one more.
Very, very close on time. He might just... Yeah, this is gonna be the final lap, because he's only just crossed the beam, and that's coming down into turn 10. So, yeah, this is gonna be it. 5, 4. Yeah, it's gonna be checkered this time, Joe.
What a race from Alessandrini. He parachutes in and just bombs the entire field by taking victory in the number 14. The gap behind him, 35 seconds to Jad Duncan. Just astonishing stuff. Still, I think Jad deserves a lot of credit for what has been a classy drive. Even if you can't keep up with Alessandrini, he's shown why Jad is one of the best in this group.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, BJ, will probably be thinking, well, okay, DJ's been the alien bit in all of us here tonight, but Jad's going to come out of turn 12. He's going to take second position in the 83. BJ's about 4 points. He's just coming out of the final corner. He's going to finish 3rd. Mark Morales, Larry Haas, Chris Marciniak, and John Mamea round out your top 10. But, well, I think this man is going to be breathing a big sigh of relief off that big old Barney he had with Michael Bolton. He's going to take P4 in the Chips Ahoy machine. And then Michael, well, the thing was, it was going to be the case of something was going to give. And, yeah, it came to blows, but that's what happens. But good showing by Yoshihiko Tani from Japan. Comes out of the final corner, started 10th, finishes a well-deserved P6 in the number 13 machine.
Agreed. Gained 4 positions from where he started, and was actually the last one on the lead lap. I didn't realize that DJ had lapped so many cars since we last looked at him. Let's take a glance at those results and get a better picture of things, as Alessandrini is, of course, your winner, with Duncan finishing in 2nd. A decisive move allowed him to run away from BJ Fulton, who at least still claimed 3rd, but qualified ahead of him, could not follow it up in the race. Dustin Heindel was 4th, and Michael Bolton gets rebuffed back to 5th after he was briefly in that P4. Yoshiki Tani was 6th, last one on the lead lap. Mark Morales P7, with Larry Haas in 8th. Chris Marciniak, up and down day for him, in 9th, with John Momeyer getting himself a nice top 10. After that, it is Mark Rondeau who finished in 11th. It was Robert Leclerc who finished in 12th, and Adam Abrams in P13. From there, Chris McDuff in the 14th spot was followed by Jim Garamani in 15th, and Alan Watts winding up with early issues, was 2 laps down in 16th in the end. We do have DJ ready to talk to us. Let's see how Alessandrini feels about this one. Lapping everybody up to 6 and half a minute ahead of the next car. You made it look kind of easy out there, DJ.
You know what, Joe? I'm not going to lie, it kind of was. I was coaching at a POC event last weekend, and I went out to dinner with a couple of these guys, and they wanted me to come out and do this, but honestly, I think it's a little unfair. So I had fun. It's a good group of guys. I appreciate the invite. If they want me to come out for another one, then like maybe I will, but I feel like I kind of ruined their fun, to be honest.
You have to not qualify, start from the back, and make it a little bit entertaining for all parties, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe I'll hear the feedback and see if they want me back. But I feel a little guilty, to be honest. But I had fun. Like I said, it's a good group of guys, and I'm hoping that that they also had fun.
Well, talk to me a little bit about where you guys were. Which track did you help coach them recently?
Yeah, so it's Charleston Peak. It's just outside of Las Vegas. It's at Spring Mountain. I think it's called like a resort, but it's just a racetrack. They have multiple tracks at the place. It's in Pahrump, Nevada. It's right on the border of California and Nevada, and we were at Charleston Peak. It's a great track. I've never driven that track before, but I got the opportunity to, and I'd say it's probably one of my favorite tracks. It was really, really enjoyable to lap. The facilities were super nice, and it helps when you're driving some pretty cool cars too. So yeah, it was a great time, and I'm just grateful that I got to fly out and help out.
I've actually been there. Yeah, it's a really awesome facility, and I do like that Charleston Peak course. It's a bit of a shame it doesn't get more attention because it's a good challenge. But speaking of a challenge, I guess you at least gave everybody a marker to try and match today. Awesome job on the win.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
That was DJ Alessandrini, your winner. Up next, I believe Alex is caught up with Jad Duncan.
Yeah, Jad, firstly, DJ ran away with that one, but still, nevertheless, you came home a good second place. How are you feeling after that one?
I felt pretty good, but yeah, DJ was fast.
I know, we were like looking at the lap times. I said at one point during the broadcast, it's like he was treating it like a glorified 40-minute sprint qualifying session, but nevertheless, you got through. You made it through on BJ at the start, and you kept that second place. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do here at Road Atlanta, is it?
No, it's hard to keep your concentration because BJ was a decent ways behind, and there was no way I was catching DJ, so I was just kind of driving around making sure not to hit curbs and bounce into walls or anything like that.
Yeah, we did see a lot of that, I think, especially with Michael Bolton. He had a couple of moments where he had, we were seeing the car getting 2 wheels in the air, a bit like Knight Rider ski mode back in the 1980s, but nevertheless, a good result here at Road Atlanta. How are you feeling ahead of the rest of the series, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. I'm afraid I'm going to miss next week, unfortunately, but I should do most of the others, so hopefully I can get some more good finishes, and it should be a good championship.
Brilliant. Well, before we let you go, Jad, anyone you'd like to give a thank you to for tonight?
I'd like to thank my wife for letting me do this, and my dad, because we sit down and watch these races afterwards. It's always kind of fun.
Brilliant. Well, that was Jad Duncan, our second place finisher tonight. Jad, thank you very much for your time as always. And I think we've got, with Joe standing by, the man that finished up on the rostrum, BJ Fulton, standing by.
Indeed. And it was so close in qualifying, BJ, 0.03 of a second between you and Jad. And then he suddenly manages to get by you right at the start. Was that a really decisive moment in this race, him making that overtake?
Yeah, it was. I didn't expect the pace in the race to be that much different. I thought I could hang with him even if he got by me, but he was quite a bit faster than me in practice, even though he didn't maybe get his best lap in qualifying, so that probably explains it.
Still, you finished on the podium every single race now, so it's been a very consistent start. Are you feeling good about this regardless, even if you haven't topped the steps yet?
Yeah, for sure. And some of the big name competition was out tonight, so it's a big points gain on some of them for the championship. So yeah, I think this will be important in the long run.
What about Imola, though? That's a very technical track coming up next as we head back across the pond.
Yeah, I like that track. It's not necessarily my best track, but I'm pretty good at it. What's unusual, I usually like to run a super low downforce setting there, but with this fixed setting, I'm going to be stuck with whatever they give me. So we'll see how well I can make it work.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Awesome job on another third place.
Thanks a lot, guys.
That was BJ Fulton finishing P3 today, which, of course, will wrap us up with a few thank yous along the way to our sponsors, which includes Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Top Gun MG, helping financial advisors be the best of the best. Contact them today at TopGunMG.com. That's TopGunMG.com. Thank you, of course, to the team today, Alex, Christian, and Dougie. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a moment, because next time out, we're going to be going off to Imola for Monday, February 23rd, 11 p.m. Eastern. We got more racing happening this week as we go over to Suzuka with the Skip Barber cars, and that is going to be on the East course, not one you see as often, especially here on iRacing. That should be a good time. Make sure and check out our other races that we have listed on the screen. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
This is iRacing.